I get to the spot and the conditions are absolutely perfect. I really couldn't ask for a better day. I start swimming out and immediately I see this beautiful ray. This has got to be some kind of good luck charm. I hit the bottom here next to this big school of uhu. They never come in close to me, but it's really beautiful just to watch them for a second. I spot this nice looking school of goatfish, so I load up my spear, but they don't let me get anywhere close to them. I swim forward a little bit when this big roy comes in front of me. He cruises down into the coral and I'm too slow to react to him. I check his hole, but he's nowhere to be found. This hole's got a big tail, so I give it a little tap. The eel didn't like that, so he turned around to see who was bothering him. Look at this guy. I really don't want to hurt him, but I've got my spear trained on him just in case he makes a move on me. See these fish cruising in front of me in the shallows, so I let off a grunt to try to get him to look towards me a little bit. They didn't pay me any attention, so I lined up on the biggest one and shot. The biggest one was also the farthest one away, so unfortunately it was just out of range. It really is a shame. I definitely feel like I could have landed one of the fish that were closer to me, but at the time I didn't know what the species was, so I wanted to be safe and aim for the biggest one because I didn't know the legal limit. He looked stunned at first, so I chased him around for a little bit, but it's clear that he's got plenty of energy. I did some Googling and found out that the fish were the double-spotted queenfish. However, I couldn't find a Hawaiian name that I recognized, and I wasn't able to find anything about the legal limit for spearing. So if any of you guys know, just drop it in the comments. I say hi to this little turtle, and then I spot a hogfish and decide to take a dive on it. I drop down above it and I have a super easy shot, but it just looks a little bit small to me. Look at this cute little fish. He lets me come up right next to him. I check inside this hole, but there's nothing to be seen. I was watching this coral head when I spotted this roy swimming around next to it. I swam down to check under it, but I didn't see it anywhere. I knew he would come out eventually, so I went directly above the coral head. That way, if he stuck his head out, he wouldn't see me. Once I was there, I just had to wait. After a little while of waiting, I see him stick his head out, so I load up my spear and dive down. Look how gnarly that shot is. It just went right through his head. I stab him in the brain to kill him in the quickest, most humane way possible. When I shoot a fish, it's either to eat it, or in the case of this roy, because it is very invasive and harms the reef's native ecosystem. Roy can be eaten, and I have eaten them in the past. However, with a roy this size, there's an increased risk of ciguatera poisoning. I see another roy stick his head out from under the coral head, so I quickly slide the roy off the spear and dive down to line up a shot. He saw what happened to his friend though, and he decides not to stick around. I spot this big roy swimming around, so I dive down and line up a shot. He stops for a second and I have the perfect opportunity, but I freeze up and he gets away. After what happened with the queenfish, I really wanted to make sure I was in range, but looking back on it, I really should have shot at this guy. I spot another roy at the same coral head as earlier and take a dive on him. He lunges suddenly and I take a shot, but it's not good placement. I see this roy looking at me, so I dive down and I shoot. Even after watching the video, I'm still not sure if I hit him. Look how shallow this spot is here. I decide to catch a wave and get out of this. I take a dive, and before I can even crest the ledge, the biggest moo I've seen in my entire life swims out. It was so big, I didn't think anything else could fit in the cave with it, so I just headed back up to the surface. Maybe it could hear me coming, or maybe it just felt me with its lateral lines, but either way, this thing was massive, and it didn't stick around. I dive on this goatfish, and I have a pretty decent shot on the top of its head, but it's just too quick for me. Check out this grandfather turtle. This thing is absolutely massive. I saw this big goatfish swimming around, so I dived down in this field of rocks. I hit the bottom and immediately he's got some interest in me and he turns around. He swims up to me and presents the perfect broadside shot. I swam back up to the surface and I was just kicking myself for blowing such a perfect opportunity. I thought I had just missed him, but check this out. The shot placement was nearly perfect, but this guy was able to dodge it with his superhuman reflexes. The spear was literally resting on his back for a minute there. I decide to take a second drop on him, and he's still a little curious. He swims forward a little bit to check me out. I didn't even move here, but he's so skittish he makes the wise decision to dart away. He ends up turning around to check me out again, but I don't think he's going to come in very close, and I'm running out of oxygen quickly. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.